Well, for me, the main issue of this meetings here in Singapore is first to show the members, the ICA members, that we're trying to go to a global ICA, which is how to work together. The center of ICA, which is the headquarters in Geneva, the regions, and the sectoral organization. And of course, that global ICA has to give and to deliver services to members. And one of the services is obvious. Is obviously the General Assembly, General Meetings. And two main topics I would pick out of this General Assembly that are, for me, the kind of services delivered to members is first, the publishing of the second list of the Global 300 and the global list of the top 100 in the developing countries. And the second topic, which I believe is, even if it's not, it's hard to understand, it's that session on the accounting standards. So I do believe that Singapore meetings will be the start for in the views of the board to launch a global ICA and to reach that global ICA to be a success. We have to deliver services, and to me, these two topics are good services that members have to grasp and work with. So that was the first rough main idea on the full assembly, the whole meeting. Going back on the question on Global 300.
Can you just explain what you want a global ICA to lobby for with regard to the accounting standards?
I do believe it is important for us, being the ACME, should I say that word? Apex. But ACME is the, it sounds a bit Greek, but it is important to show it's not only being on the top of, it's being on the forefront. That is to say that we have to be much more visible, much more understood outside, of course, but also inside to show off unity. And I do believe it is important to have to give a coherence to the corporate movements. And it's always hard to get a coherence between two principles, which is close to local, close to basics, close to the ground on one side, independence of each corporate, and the other side to be overhaul movement. Okay? And of course, that's the work, that's the job for the global ICA. And to work, we have to work together. We have to represent the diversity of the movement between sectors, between regions, between sides. And this is why I do believe this move on the Global 300 is very important. It is a process. It's not only a show-off. It's not only, it is important sometimes, and I do believe it is important for the corporate movement to be back on the stage, to be a real big player, but not for being big, but for to show very much like that word, that sentence used by the COP UK brochure. It's behind the figures. Right. We put first the figures because we're in a world where being big is important, but for us it's not only being big which is important. I do believe what is important is just to show that first co-ops are not just old-fashioned dinosaurs that would vanish sooner or later, or that the only bright future for huge co-ops is to be demutualized. Okay. I do believe it is important to show that behind figures there are women and men that want wants to be free, to be able to grasp their own future by whichever sector they work in. Should it be fishery, should it be agriculture? They make their own history, and it is important to show that for us, cooperative movement, there is no end to history. Okay, it is very important on that topic. So, Global 300 is not only a question of figures; it's a question of to show that cooperative principles are good for everyone. So, we want to have cooperative principles for members, already members, but for the forthcoming members, the most important is that are those who are not yet cooperatives. Okay, so it's just to show outside that we can bring them inside, and they would play a role. They would play a part. Of course, we want to be on the top of the page, but we want to play a part. Secondly, it's important inside the movement. And the process is important, just to show it's not a question of fight or competition between bigs and smalls, or OECD countries and developing countries. It is important to be in a process to show that even the big ones on the figure, on the top list, on the 3 list, they started small, they expanded. Anyone in the future could get on that list. It depends on their own work, on the environment, and so on. So it is important, and I do believe the process has been achieved till now on is very important to show the unity of the movement. Unify doesn't mean uniformation. To be all the same. You have to be different.
Yeah.
So that's the second topic. On the accounting question, it might sound strange that we spent few hours in the general meeting on that topics, but I do believe it is important because that brings back to that question of figures first. Because accounting first is to translate realities through figures, and some people not knowing much about accounting think figures are true or the truth. Figures are not by themselves the truth. They're not objective. It is the way we built up accounting. It is the way things are done that are important. What are the main key issues at stake now on the accounting standards? Very important. First is just to bring at the level of the people that drove the global figures of the accounting standards. Both of them are, the most important are both the International Accounting Standard Board, which is an international body settled in England, but working for mostly European countries, and the FASB, which is Federal Accounting Standard Board for the United States. Now they are trying to work together to converge, and what is very striking for those who are one of them, to discover that we doesn't fit in their figure. Okay, when we try to be there, all we want is we want to be somewhere in the accounting figures. The standards has been driven by the idea that the limited company is a common standard. When we come and we say by our rules, we agree to be involved in private enterprises where we accept to put some money in, but what we want is not to share by the